to The Blodgett Show. My name is Chris. I'm your host, and you are listening to this week's episode of Storytime Friday.
Hey guys, welcome to another week of Storytime Friday. If you're new to this podcast, my name is Chris. I'm your host, and what you can expect every week on this podcast is every Tuesday we do what I call Real Talk Tuesday, and then every Friday, because I'm a writer and a storyteller, and this is a Real Talk and Storytelling podcast, we have Storytime Friday. So basically what I do is I either write or basically I write a story, or I do what I've been doing lately, mainly because of my the kind of hours I have to put in for my trucking career out here. I literally only have one day off. It's not even really for me. It's not a full day because, of course, part of that is sleep and whatever, So what I do what I call freestyle episodes. So literally while I'm out here doing my job, when I got nothing but time going between pickup and delivery, might be like 4 or 5 hours. I go ahead and hit record, and we go ahead and I just try to come up with a story, and it's definitely a challenge some weeks because I might not feel up to doing it, but I'm all about moving forward, all about being consistent and continuing to just continuing to try to not let the laziness get the better of me and stuff. Because when you're busy all the time, it's very easy to not want to do it. But I have that problem though if I give in to that and basically just put off stuff for a week or whatever, then it's harder to come back from. So I'm trying my best every week to be able to just get things recorded, get them posted, and continue to move forward with you guys. So without rambling on too much, figured we'll go ahead and get into it. But first and foremost, you can find us on socials at on Instagram at Blodgett Show Podcast. You can find my personal socials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at TN Trucker Chris. You can find me on X at CEAZ Freedom, and my blog at tntruckerchris.wordpress.com. Anybody who, if you're a storyteller and you have stories written, or hell, you could write, even if you don't have stories written, and you want to write a story and send it to me to be read on the show, feel free to send your story ideas to Blodgett Show Podcast at gmail.com. Hell, I even thought recently that if you even want to go as far as to actually record yourself reading your own story, feel free to send me the audio file of that, and I will check it out and make sure it's appropriate. Obviously, not a inappropriate story, but otherwise, and make sure it has to be at least 30 minutes. I prefer usually to have stories that are like 45 minutes to an hour and a half at the bare minimum. But if a recorded story is at least 30 minutes, that's not terrible. That's still okay. It's a little short, but if it's you sending me your story and that happens to be a half hour, okay, that works. But if you want to record your story and send me the file, whatever, and me just play your recording on the show, I'm totally cool with that too. So send those to blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com. Anybody who wants to support the show, please do send all donations to blodgettshow.com/support. But on that note, let's go ahead and dive in. Once again, welcome to Storytime Friday. This week's story is titled The Vision Trio. Three friends, Ricky, Judd, and Mark, had known each other for over 20 years. Ricky worked in retail, managing a department store, putting in long hours, had a team they had to manage underneath him, and never quite felt like, his life was the way that he wanted it to be. At home, he had been married for the past 5 or 10 years and had not really felt like it was a very happy marriage. Him and his wife fought constantly about the money and wanting something better in life, while Ricky basically did everything. He worked as hard as he could, worked a lot of hours at the department store, was getting bonuses every single quarter, doing everything right, but still not feeling like he was where he wanted to be. Judd, also married for the past 11 years, was also unhappy at home. Not for the same reason as Ricky. Judd and his wife had a little bit of financial worries and stuff, but it was more the time constraints that him and his wife fought about. When they fought, it wasn't even them fighting with each other, them going at each other. It was, they would kind of disagree a little bit, but they kind of both felt they had similar arguments. And him and his wife, they both worked very intense jobs. His wife being in the medical field, and Judd working in construction, always taking on extra jobs to make extra money, to make ends meet, and always feeling like even though he made decent money, bills were always paid, and they had a nice house. Always felt like there had to be something better. There had to be a way to actually get to where he could not only have the life he wanted, but not have to feel like he was running himself into the ground to do it. Mark had been in the trucking industry for the past 25 years. He was married, but him and his wife had a very strained relationship at home, mainly due to his limited time at home. And after he and his wife had been married for about 10 years, he had to deal with the stress of coming home for a weekend at home and finding out that his other half had actually strayed from the marriage when they during the first 5 years that they were together, and then managed to keep it a secret for the remaining 5 that they were still together, or for the remaining 5 years of their marriage. So finding this out after 10 years of marriage, that 5 years ago something had happened, and confronting his wife about it and asking her what happened, him and his wife started working through things, Mark's initial instincts when it came to relationships were that he didn't believe in second chances when it came to infidelity. But when he found out what happened, having scrolled through emails, on their family computer and seeing things that indicated that something had happened, when he talked to his wife about it, even though his gut instinct was to get up and walk out the door and never come back, his wife begged him to stay and, assured him that nothing else had ever happened and that she loved him and that she was sorry. Mark, of course, really wanting to hold true to his beliefs and his values, thinking that there's no second chances for infidelity, had to stop and think. 10 years of marriage, and they were in a pretty good place in their life, family-wise. They had a nice house, they had kids, grandkids, and after getting off the phone with his wife, who was at work when he confronted her after he found out about the incident that happened, he sat there in the computer chair thinking to himself, well, shit. Mark thought to himself, it's like, man, I love her. I mean, for the most part, I thought we've been happy. Man, I love the kids. Man, I really adore those little grandkiddos. But damn it! Why would she do this? Sits there at the computer, head buried in his hands, wanting to cry, but being so used to trying to swallow his emotions down and not show emotion. However, sitting there at the computer desk, reading over those emails after getting off the phone with his wife, he just had to keep thinking. It's like, I don't believe in second chances, he thought to himself. When it comes to marriage, if anybody strays, I've always told myself all these years that it's over. Once one person cheats, it's over. He thought as he sighed to himself. Man, what do I do if I leave? He thought to himself. I could go stay with my parents. They'd probably take me in, but damn it, I love my job here. We have a really nice house. Life is good. Son of a bitch, he said, thinking to himself, it's not fair that I should have this decision, that she's put me in this position. Man, I wish I'd fucking kill the fucker if I could get my hands on him. But then he took another sip of his drink and tried to calm down, thinking to himself, well, it's a good fucking thing this motherfucker moved. Because if he was still living here, man. Okay, Mark, calm down, he thought to himself. Filled up another glass with his Fireball and took another shot. Okay, that's a little better. All right, calm down, buddy. All right. Yeah, because if I leave, man, I feel like I'm gonna lose everything. If I walk out that door and I just walk up and leave. He looked over towards the stairs with or up the stairs. One of the kiddos and one of the grandkiddos were actually asleep upstairs. I can't do it. I have to see if I can make it work, he thought. So over the next handful of years, Mark and his wife had continued to make more of an effort with each other to try to make things work. His wife, of course, expressing the concerns that she had, which are basically that when she married him, he hadn't been driving yet at that point. And when he became a trucker, he was away so much that she grew a little too close to one of her friends. And, of course, his wife expressed to him, as they were doing date nights and couples counseling and trying to talk things through, and she expressed to him that it's like, I wish it never happened, I regret it, but and it's never gonna happen again. But she would tell him, I didn't sign up to be a single mom though, I signed up because I thought I was gonna have a partner at home, and when you went over the road, it was always just me, and I struggle with that. I mean, maybe, I understand, Mark would say, like, it wasn't, I didn't want to leave you guys. I mean, I know your friend told you that he thought that I wanted to be away from home because I didn't want to be, like, I enjoyed being away, being away from home, and that's complete bullshit. Like that guy is a complete idiot. Like, I don't even know how you grew that close to him to actually do that. And his wife, of course, well, babe, like, he paid attention to me, and, like, I was lonely, and that's why, it just happened. Okay, Mark would say, like, but how did he get to that point? Because you're hanging out with him just out there at the park in his truck or whatever, and how did that happen? Like, how did he get to that point? Well, babe, his wife would respond, like, it's just the conversation just went too far and it happened. Oh, okay. Mark would say, well, so Mark and his wife continued to work through their issues, date nights, spending time with the kids and grandkids. And after it had been 15 years or so since he'd started driving, and him and his wife had actually been, worked through things quite a bit. Things are a lot better. Mark got a phone call from his friend Judd. Whoa, holy shit, Judd, how's it going, man? Hey, bro, Judd said. Like, what you been up to, man? It's been a long time. I know, man. What about you, man? Like, I'm over here just hanging out with the wife. Like, what are you up to, Judd? Oh, bro, just hanging out. My wife's gone over here currently. I'm not kind of hanging out home alone. But have you heard from Ricky? Well, no, I haven't. Mark said. Like, why? Why do you ask? Well, man, Judd said. Like, I got a weird text from him the other day. Like, I haven't heard from him in a while. But it's like, it said, hey, we need to, like, we should get the original trio back together. Judd said. Oh man, I miss those days. Mark said. It's been years. Yeah, man, Judd said. Well, did he say anything else? Mark said. No, man, he just literally, that's all the text said. It said we should get the trio back together. Oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Mark said. So, like, I mean, I guess I could probably reach out to him. Mark said. Yeah, man. You should do that, Mark. Just let me know if you hear back from him. All right, man. I'll do that, Mark said as they hung up the call. Hello? Ricky said as he answered the call. Hey, Hey, Ricky, what's up? How you doing, bro? Mark said as he, heard Ricky answer the call. Oh, Mark, what's up, man? God, I haven't heard from you in forever. Oh, yeah, I know. I just got off the phone with Judd a little while back. Holy shit, really? Ricky said, yeah. You say that he got a text message from you? Oh, right. Ricky said, yeah, man, it's just, man, I've just been thinking a lot recently. I've kind of been down in the dumps. Are you okay? Mark said. Yeah, I'm fine, Ricky said. But, it's just life, man. It's like, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely not where I want to be. And I got to do something about it, man. Like, if I don't do, like, if things don't change, then, man, I don't want to know where I'm going to be in the next 2 years. Well, Mark said, I mean, you're not, like, do I need to worry about you, bro? No, Ricky said, nothing like that. Of course not. I'm just saying that, like, I'm married, me and the wife, we're happy-ish. Ish? Mark said. Well, yeah, Ricky said as he, thought for a second. It's just like, money's good, but, and like, he trailed off. Well, bro, Mark said, like, are you still working are you still running the, like, managing at the, department store? Yeah, man, Ricky said. It's just, I mean, the money's good, the wife and I, we do date nights and stuff, but, it's like, I work so much, she works so much. I had an idea, man. You know how we used to get together and just the three of us? You, me, and Judd? Oh, yeah, absolutely, Mark said. Well, here's what I was thinking. Like, why don't we start doing that again? Like, we'll make a thing of it. Like you're back in town every week for like a 34, right? Yeah. I get back every Saturday night. I go back out Monday again. Mark said. All right, that's awesome. So like what about, I'll run this by Judd too, but I'm sure he'll be good. I'm sure he'll be up for it. But why don't we plan? We'll get together every Sunday. Like, let's pick a random. Like, every Sunday we could either be at the same place, or we could pick a new place every week. Just random restaurant. We could basically just, we could bring like a marker board or whatever. We can lay out in the, or even some like construction paper and art materials, whatever. We'll just, like, as we're eating dinner or whatever, we'll just be making a little bit. It's kind of a vision board type of thing on the table, while we eat, which is basically talking about what we eat more after and stuff. Mark said, kind of thinking, you want to do vision boards while we're at a restaurant? Well, man, Ricky says, like, it's either that or we don't eat. We just, meet either at one of our houses, and we do vision boards that way, and just kind of, throw some ideas back and forth about what we want in life. Well, I mean, Mark said, I do like the, I do like the idea of getting together for dinner, though. Like, I don't want to just meet and do, like, an art project. I'm all down for the vision board thing, because I've heard, I'm always hearing that, hearing good things about when people do vision boards. Oh, yeah? Like what? Ricky said. Well, Mark continued, I used to think it was bullshit. You did? Ricky said. Yeah, Mark said. It's like I used to think that, all the, writing down what you want in life, speaking positive affirmations, speaking what you're wanting out there in the universe. I used to think, that's crap. And you don't think that way still? Ricky said. I mean, my perspective is definitely changing. Mark said. It's like, I'm when I'm out there on the road doing my job, I'm listening to I listen to a bunch of different podcasts, And I've actually, I've listened to a couple of them recently, where the hosts of these shows talked about how they wrote, when they made a vision board, they wrote things up there on their vision board that they thought were impossible. That they were like, it's hard to explain. Ricky chimed in. You mean like kind of they put stuff up there that they thought would be like a great dream, but they didn't think would actually happen? Yeah, kind of. Mark said. Like it'd be like me putting up there, hey, I want to have $1 million in my account. Oh, I got you, Ricky said. And honestly, I wouldn't really think that's impossible. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Mark said, but obviously, like, it is possible to, end up being a millionaire, but I have no clue how the hell I do it. But, that's kind of my best example. It's possible, but is it likely? Mark said. Ricky laughed. Well, man, you're always like, I listen to some podcasts on occasion too, and I actually heard one that, ironically, it's another trucker. Oh, really? Mark said. What's he saying? Well, it's funny because he has this. He refers to it as like a real talk and storytelling podcast, but basically one of the things he's always saying is, that you gotta believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. Well, that's very interesting, Mark said. What else does he say? Well, he says things like, we only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away, so as long as we keep getting back up and fighting, we haven't failed. Wow, very interesting, Mark said. So I guess what my point is, Ricky said, it's like, one of the things that I've heard him and other podcast hosts talk about is that whatever we want to happen in our life, that we basically just, instead of saying we can't do it or we don't know how it's going to be done, to tell ourselves that we'll figure it out. Mark said. Okay. So basically, sounds like what you're telling me is that he says that even if something is some idea might seem like very improbable and most likely impossible as far as like what the idea is, that instead of thinking like we can't do it, think that we'll figure it out and keep trying for it. Pretty much, Mark said. Yeah, it's kind of the idea I get. I mean, I've his show's been around for at least a couple years, and he's always about, sounds like he works the insane hours kind of like you do, and he's all about like, talking about how if he were to quit going through the motions that he does, that he would basically be accepting the idea of him just being out there on the road and never having, like, he talks about how he's after the time freedom and financial freedom, kind of like what you talk about. Oh, that's pretty cool, Mark said. I guess that, you'll have to send me the link to his podcast sometime so I can check it out. Oh, I'll definitely do that, Ricky said. So anyway, man, about the, I know we kind of got a little bit off topic there, but, so like on Sundays, I was thinking like we could, meet up at restaurants and we could, just basically, we could have dinner, be there for about an hour or whatever, and just, we'll just go back and forth about ideas and things that, what we think and what things that we should try, and what, maybe get not just vision boarding, but like, like write down what we want, but also have something that we're gonna try, like, and I don't even know right now, but we could figure it out when we meet up for the first time. What do you think? Ricky said. Well, I mean, that sounds cool. Let's you want to message Judd and let him know what the plan is, and then just message, just let me know, what the current plans are and stuff, and like where we're gonna meet, and let's go from there, bro. What do you think? Mark said. That sounds like a plan, Ricky said. I'll go. I'll get in touch with Judd, and then we'll either me or him. We'll get in touch with you. We'll let you know what the plan is, because you're getting in town, so you'll be back on the Saturday, and so you want to meet up this Sunday? Yeah, we could do that. Mark said. I gotta admit, man, Ricky said, it's like I'm actually kind of feeling a little bit better. About just better in general right now, because it's like I'm really looking forward to starting to meet up with you guys, because one of the other things that this trucker on this podcast that I listen to, he talks about how like you just gotta believe and gotta have hope and whatever, and do whatever you can to keep moving forward. And I guess I'm kind of feeling stuck for so long. Like I said, man, I love my job, like being a manager at this department store, and like I make good money, and the wife and I, we're not struggling by any means, but it's like I feel like we're not happy, if that makes sense. Well, I mean, what's going on, Mark? So, like, are you guys like, how's your marriage? Is everything good there? Well, yeah, everything's fine, Ricky said. It's just, we could say it's kind of been bland for a while. Like we have date nights, but we're both so busy that whenever we do a date night, we're just like, we're so exhausted. And most of the talking back and forth is, how was your day? Okay, how was your day? I mean, what about you? Ricky said. What about me? What? Mark said. Well, Ricky said, like, how are things going with your other half at home? Like, are you guys good too? Oh, that's I mean, yes and no. Mark said, kind of trailing off. Well, what's going on, man? Ricky said. Well, why don't we, I'll be home in 2 days. Why don't we get in touch with Judd and let's get this all arranged? And we can start shooting the shit back and forth, when we start meeting up for dinner once a week, and we could all tell each other our stories, and, figure out what we want to do, and, do what that, podcast, that trucking podcast or whatever you listen to, the trucker on the road that's basically do what he always, like he said, he suggests, and keep moving forward. All right, man, Ricky said. So anyway, man, it's been great to talk to you. I'll be in touch. Actually, why don't we go ahead and decide? We can decide, right? Like, is there any particular restaurant that you like? Because we're all kind of not far from each other, like an hour or so away from each other, like separate directions, and you're kind of in the middle. Why don't we plan something near where you live? Like that way, me and Judd, we could just make our way to you, and we'll meet there, and that'll be like the midpoint, kind of the meet in the middle type of thing. Ricky said. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that works. Mark said. What about there's this steakhouse, Logan Steakhouse or whatever, that I go to a lot. Can I say, man, I'm a sucker for steak, Mark said. Oh, man, I love steak, Ricky said. But yeah, that sounds good. So Logan Steakhouse, what do you think? Like 6:30 every Sunday or whatever? And then, obviously we could change it up and go somewhere else if we want to do that. Otherwise, we could just do the Logan Steakhouse. What do you think? Yeah, man, that sounds good, Mark said. So go ahead and let Judd know, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Sounds good, bro. Sounds good, Ricky said as they hung up the call. Hello. Judd's phone chimed. Pulls it out of his pocket and unlocks it. Oh, thought to himself, cool. Rick, the text message from Ricky. Hey, bro, just thought I'd drop you a line. I just got off the phone with Mark, and we're gonna start meeting up on Sundays. And we're gonna start. We're basically gonna have dinner, talk about our lives, and do some like vision boarding. So, if you're up for it, we're gonna meet up at Logan Steakhouse every Sunday at 6:30. Judd put the phone down for a second and thought, vision boarding. Yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of. I mean, that sounds interesting, he thought to himself. I mean, can't hurt. Unlocks his phone again, starts typing. Hey, Ricky, hey, great to hear from you again. So you say, like, vision boarding at a steakhouse? Question mark. Said. Hello. Ricky's phone goes off. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, Judd responded. Cool. All right, let's see. So he starts typing. Said. Hello. Judd unlocks his phone. Oh, okay, let's see. So Ricky says, yeah, basically we're gonna do vision board. You know, we're gonna bring a marker board, some markers, and we're gonna, you know, order dinner and basically take about an hour or two, basically just ordering drinks and food and, you know, enjoying ourselves, basically just you know, go from there. Huh, okay. So he starts typing a message. Sounds great, man. I will see you guys there 6:30 on Sunday. Send. Ta-da. His phone goes off again. Awesome sauce, bro. Awesome sauce. So we'll see you guys at the restaurant, Judd. With a sunglasses emoji. Judd puts his phone down. Okay. That's very interesting. But yeah, looking forward to getting the trio back together. It's been a while. Sunday comes along, and Judd and Ricky pull up to the restaurant. They hadn't seen each other in a couple years, so they had no idea what each other drove. So they both parked. Judd pulls out his phone, sends a text message to Ricky. Hey, man, I'm here. Where are you? Ta-dum. His phone goes off again. I'm just pulling in now. Hey, have you heard from Mark? Judd replies, nope. I'll send him a message now. Hold on. Hey, Mark, he types. I'm here. Ricky's pulling in now. Where are you? Ta-dum. His phone goes off. I'm actually inside, dude. I got here about 20 minutes ago. I figured I wanted to get here early, you know, because I live locally. So come on in, man. I've got a table already for us. Oh shit, Judd says as he looks at the message. Sends a text to Ricky. Hey, man. Mark says he's already inside. He has a table for us. Well, shit. Ricky replies back. Sounds good. All right, I'll see you guys inside. Judd gets up, comes inside, and as he walks in, he glances across the restaurant and sees Mark sitting at a round table. Hey, Judd, over here, man. Mark calls across the restaurant. Oh shit, there you are, man. He said as he walks over, and Mark gets up. Judd tries to reach out to shake his hand, and Mark pulls him into a hug. Oh, bullshit, man. We're friends, man. We don't shake hands. We hug. Oh, okay, Judd says. There's the troublemakers over there. Judd and Mark glance across towards the door and see Ricky coming in. Hey, there he is. They both said it. They all shook each other's hands and gave each other hugs. All right, guys. Good to see you, they said as they all sat down. Hey guys, I'm your waitress. What can I get for you today? Want to start with any drinks? The three friends looked at each other and they looked back at the waitress. Yeah, can we get three? Can I get 3 of your Miller Lights, please? You guys cool with Miller Lights? Mark said. Yeah, absolutely. The other 2 friends said. 3 Miller Lights coming up. She said and walked away. Oh, ma'am. Oh yeah, she said, coming back to the table. Oh, can we also get one of those appetizer samplers? Yep, absolutely, she said. I'll be right there, or I'll have it right up. She said, walking away. So anyway, guys, Mark said, it's been years. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I know, bro, Judd said, looking over at Mark and then looking back at Ricky. God, what's it been, 5 years since I've seen you guys? Yeah, something like that, Ricky said. So Mark, how's the trucking life going? Oh, probably not too much different than what you're the guy that you're listening to on that podcast. I can kind of relate, as far as the wanting the time freedom and financial freedom. I mean, what's going on? Ricky said. Well, not too much. Same old shit, different day. It's like just 6 days a week. I have 34 hours off. I'm home every day, but basically it's like get home and sleep, get up and go to work. Mark said, shaking his head, and sighing. Man, that sounds rough. Judd said. Yeah, I mean it's not bad. Mark said, I can't complain too much. I mean I could be doing like things could be a lot worse. How so? Ricky said. Well, Mark said, it's I could be working a job, still working the same hours I am, but making a lot less. Mark said. Well, I mean that's true. Ricky said. It's like I love my job over here doing the in the supervisory role in the department store. I make a good salary, but the wife and I, we don't. It's just like we both work our asses off, and feel like we don't really have as much to show for it as we like because we can't really travel as much. We can't really, we do date nights and stuff. Ricky said. Yeah, I know what you mean, Judd said. It's been tough over at home myself too. It's me and the wife. I don't even think we've been happy for years actually. It's just we both have these big dreams. Like she wants to open her own business, and want to get ahead on like actually pay off like the house and stuff. It's just. But anyway, guys, like let's try not to focus too much on the bad stuff. We're supposed to be, I don't want that to become what we focus on when we get together every week. Yeah, I hear you, Mark said. So what do you guys thinking we should what do you think we should do? I know looks over at Ricky, because you had said like kind of like vision board type stuff. So I brought, and he reaches down to the floor where he had a duffel bag sitting on the floor. So I brought, and he pulls out a marker board and puts it on the middle of the table and gets out a couple markers, a couple of dry erase markers. So like I figured he puts the marker board in between the three friends. It's like, so here's what I'm thinking, guys. Like Mark said. So this table's small enough, and this way the board, there's part of the board near all three of us, and so we could each, I think he hands the other two guys markers. So I think like, why don't we like every week when we get together, let's spout ideas back and forth, like what we could possibly do, like even if it seems impossible, putting what we want on the board, and basically say, all right, that's what we want. And then maybe make a game plan. What kind of game plan, Judd says? Oh, like something like an action step that we take, even if we don't think it's going to happen. Some kind of action step for us to try to get where we want to go. Huh? That's interesting, Judd says. Yeah, totally. Ricky said. Like, what about? So okay, well, hold on. Like, I have an idea, but let's. All right, have your markers, guys. Let's. So, I know for me, he takes off his cap and he starts writing. On his corner of the board, he writes, "Time freedom, financial freedom, happiness." That's interesting. Mark says, looking over. So, because I mean, I guess we could technically have the same things. Mark says, but instead of writing the words for me, I think I'm going to. And he uncaps his marker and he draws a money bag, and then draws a picture of what looks like a bus. And Judd and Ricky both look at each other and look back at Mark. What the hell is that? Is that a bus? No, I mean, can't you tell that's an RV? because basically it's the picture versions of what Ricky wrote over there, like money freedom, and I want to be able to travel, so that like travel in an RV or whatever. Oh, I gotcha, Judd said, looking over. All right, so he grabs his marker and takes the cap off and goes. He all of a sudden drew some wavy lines, and then drew a little stick figure right next to the wavy lines, and then on one of his stick hands, drew a little what looked like a stick coming out of it being held onto by his hand, and then drew a wavy line from the tall stick down to the wavy lines that he drew. And of course, Mark and Ricky look at each other and look back. What the hell is that? Ricky said. What, can't you tell? Mark's like, bro, like those. No, we can't. We can't tell. Mark says, kind of laughing and looking over at Ricky. I really, really can't. Ricky said. All right, well, I'm not the best artist, as Judd says, but basically, like my dream, I guess, and then of course I gotta have money bag because I gotta have, money freedom. But for me, time freedom is I haven't fished in 20 years. Like I used to fish all the time when I was younger, and then of course I grew up, and you guys know how that goes. They look over him. Oh yeah. Mark says as he looks over at Ricky. Oh, totally, man, totally. So my dream would be to have the financial freedom, and then also have the time freedom to do the things I want, like just go sit on a lake and fish, or sit on a dock. I don't care, but fishing I think is so much better when you're on the boat. What do you think, guys? Man, I don't know, man. I really haven't fished too much in my life. Ricky said, I've been too busy doing what I currently do. Looks over at Mark. I mean, I used to fish a little bit with my grandparents when they were alive, but I haven't in quite a while, probably for the same reason. Like, just especially doing what I currently do in the truck, it's just not possible. So, all right, so. Basically your dream, Judd, is to have the time freedom to go fishing. Yeah, pretty much, Judd says. It's like I just want to. It's like I just don't really have the time to really do anything, or the money to do anything. So I guess really the financial freedom to be able to provide the time freedom is what I'm thinking. He said, looking over at Mark. Yeah, I hear that. Like I love what I do, but I wouldn't mind being able to not have to go out in the truck and still be able to live my life and be happy or whatever. Ricky nodded. I totally feel it, bro. I totally feel it. Alright, so as they're looking at the pictures or whatever, they hear it. Alright, here's 3 beers for you fellas. And here's your appetizer sampler. Are we ready to order? Mark says, looking at the menu. What do you guys think? Should we just get it, since, for our first get together, first get together in a while. I know we used to meet up and hang out, but we've always been the trio. He said, looking over at Ricky. Yeah, we have, man. I know we didn't used to get together at restaurants and stuff, but I still used to hang out, like go out to the park or whatever with the wives and the kids back in our younger days. Yeah, those are fun times, Judd says. But anyway, Mark says we at least we got the gang back together. So what do you think, like, to renew this tradition? Why don't we start with some burgers? Like burgers and fries all around. Yeah, sounds good, Ricky said. And John's like, yeah, let's go. So some burgers and fries, please, ma'am. He said, looking up at the waitress. Coming right up, she said, walking away. All right, guys, Mark said. So why don't we kick this thing off? Since we're renewing renewing or picking up where we left off before, changing it up, obviously, as we're doing the vision stuff. Why don't we, because we're the trio, but what should we call ourselves officially? Trio of 3, Judd said. I don't know about that, Mark said. Like, Tres Amigos? Ricky said. Bro, really? Judd said, looking over at Ricky. I mean, it's better than Vision of 3, Ricky said, looking over at Judd. Well, fuck you, man. I'm just messing with you, Ricky said. I know, me too, man, me too, Judd said. Guys, come on, chill out. Here, just drink our beers, Mark said as he took a big swing of his beer. Ah, you know what? Ricky said, grabbing his beer, taking a swing. For a second, I actually, I hadn't really even paying attention, that she set the beers down. I totally, chugged. So as he chugged a little bit of the beer, oh man, this hits a spot, Judd said, taking a swing of his beer. So anyway, Mark said, what about, because we're envisioning what we want for our lives, right? The other two guys like, yeah, of course, as they munched on some samplers. What about Vision Trio? Mark said, taking another sip. Oh, that's interesting, bro, Judd said, stroking his goatee. Yeah, that's not bad, Ricky said. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, Vision Trio it is, Mark says, writing it in the middle of all three little diagrams that each guy had drawn on the board. Okay, so all right, so we have a name for us. Let's so next, so like for our next meeting, I'll bring the board again. I'm gonna leave everything on here, and we could get some appetizers and food and beers again, and we could talk about what we're gonna start doing. That sounds good, man. Waitress showed up. Here you go, guys, said, laying their plates in front of each guy. Oh my God, that looks delicious, Judd said, grabbing his burger and taking a big bite. Mark picked up his beer bottle and raised it up towards his friends. All right, guys, to the Vision Trio and to achieving the things that we feel might be impossible. And then Judd raises his bottle towards Mark's bottle, and Ricky, as he raises his bottle up, and clang bottles, he said, and to making our dreams come true and the lives that we want, he said. Here, the other two guys said as they clanged bottles. As they finished their appetizers and their burgers and their fries, they all shook hands and gave each other hugs and headed their separate directions to head towards their homes. At their homes, each one of them talked to their wives, kind of letting them know kind of what's going on. As Mark walked back in the door, his wife, "Hey, babe, how'd it go?" "Oh, it went great," Mark said. We came up with a name for ourselves, calling ourselves a Vision Trio. We're just gonna kind of like a club, I guess. That's interesting, she said. Yeah, Mark said. I guess we kind of wrote down things that we envision, things that we want, things that we're dreaming of. Like what? His wife said. Well, time freedom, because I know you and I have had our issues through our marriage, some obstacles that we encountered that we're trying to work through. Yeah, I know, and I could never apologize enough for what happened. His wife said. Yeah, I know, babe, I know. I still struggle with it at times, but just like when I found out that happened, I love you and the kids and the grandkids too much I just didn't have it in me to walk away. But you might find it what I put on the board, what I talked about was basically me wanting to have the time freedom and the financial freedom so I could be here with you and the kids and the grandkids, permanently, not have to be away from home to try to provide. Oh, that would be amazing, babe, his wife said. Judd when he walked in the door, him and his wife basically was off on the couch on her iPad, just playing games. Hey, babe, she said, not even looking up from her iPad. Hey, he said, what you playing? Oh, just solitaire with a couple friends on this gaming side or whatever. She said, still not looking up. Oh, cool. So how'd the get together with your little friends go? My little friends? Jed said, we're not kids. No, I know. His wife said, I was just like your friends. I guess your friends, not your little friends. She said, no, it was good. Jed said, we came up with a name for a little club. Your club, his wife said. Yeah, we're because we're gonna meet up every week and basically just talk about things we could try to make our lives better, to try to achieve our dreams, whatever. Huh, interesting, she said, continuing to play her game. So yeah, we'll see what happens, Jed says as he sat down next to her and started flipping the channels. Ricky walked to the door, and his wife wasn't even home at the time. Pulls out his phone. Hey babe, where you at? He says, texting his wife. Oh, I just went over to Sarah's house and just helping her, making some a batch of cookies for a bake sale at the church. Oh, cool. Ricky says, all right, well, I'm back home. I'll see you when you get home. That sounds good, babe, his wife replied. Ricky put the phone down, kind of thinking like, well, I mean, as long as she's having a good time, I guess, As they all went about their week, each of them looked forward to getting together the following week. Actually, Ricky thought to himself that it was nice to feel, he kind of felt a sense of camaraderie, having met up with his friends, and, that they're going to meet up every week, and he's like, oh man, I'm really looking forward to this, he thought to himself. Sunday came along, and all three of them pulled into the Logan Steakhouse, and met up at the same table. As Judd and Ricky walked in, Mark was already sitting there at the table waiting for him again. Bro, how are you here before us each time? Judd said. I mean, I kind of live here, Mark said. It's kind of easy. I'm like 5 minutes down the road. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, I guess that tracks, Ricky said. All right, so Mark says, pulling out the board. So I've been thinking all week, Mark said. Uh-oh, Judd said. Oh, shut the fuck up, Mark said. I'm just messing with you, man, Judd said. I know. I mean, damn, Judd, you're so serious all the time. Well, I try not to be, but I mean, are you okay, man? Mark said, looking over at Judd. You kind of look down. Well, it's just with everything going on, I'm looking forward to envisioning a better future for us. Because, when I got home, I kind of didn't really talk to the wife much. I mean, everything good? Mark said. Yeah, we're good. It's just she barely even acknowledges me now, man. It's like I come in and she's on her iPad on the couch, didn't even look up when we were talking. Ah, man, that's rough, Mark said. I'm sorry. No, it's all good. It's just, if not for both of us, I'm looking forward to at least, going after my dreams for me, trying to make stuff happen for me at least. Because I want to be happy. Obviously, I want us both to be happy, but, Well, yeah, I gotcha, Mark said. Well, maybe when things start happening with our visions here, with, like, putting things out in the universe, maybe she'll come around. Yeah, maybe, Judd said. Well, hell, man, Ricky said. I got home and my wife wasn't even home. Ah, shit, I'm sorry, bro, Mark said. No, it's all good, Like, we're both so busy, and then when we do have actual time, it's like, one of us will have time and the other one will be gone. So I got home and she was at a friend's house. Like, Oh well. Yeah, it sucks, bro. I'm sorry, Jensen. No, it's all good. So anyway, man, he raises a hand up. Hey, ma'am, can we get a couple beers over here and another one of those samplers? Yes, sir. Coming right up. The waitress said, walking away. So should we do burgers again this time, bro? I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna do a steak. Actually, Mark said. Oh, that's right. You know, like I know we're at a steakhouse. I didn't even think about it last week. But the burger was fucking amazing. Judd said. Oh yeah, it was, man. Ricky said. But yeah, steak sounds amazing. Here's your beers and your appetizers, gentlemen. Is there anything else I can get you right now? Yeah, let's. I think we're all gonna do the 16-ounce ribeye or the 16-ounce sirloin because that I know I said the ribeye before, but I think which one is the one that's the most lean that has the least fat on it? Mark said. That would be the sirloin, sir. The waitress said. All the other cuts have about an inch of fat on them, and I know the fat is definitely good for like the flavor of the steak. But if you're looking for like less fat on the steak, the sirloin is really lean. It has very, very little fat, if any, on it. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll do that one. Mark says. Sounds good. Sounds good. Guys, want anything on those steaks at all? Like onions and mushrooms? Oh, hell yes, Mark said. Oh, absolutely, Jess says. No mushrooms for me, but I'll do the onions. Ricky said. All right, what about gravy? Mark, rub his hands together. Oh yeah, oh, absolutely, gravy. Let's do the brown gravy for me. Judd's like, I'll do the brown gravy too. Ricky looks up at the waitress. We can do gravy on our steak? I've never heard of that. Yeah, you can. Well, how good? I guess that's pretty good since the other two guys are getting it. Oh, it's amazing. The waitress said, we could do white gravy or brown gravy, and forget like your onions or whatever. Like it's so much more flavor. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it. I'll do brown gravy too, please. All right, coming right up, you guys. All right. So anyway, Mark said, looking back at the board, looking back at his friends. Here's what I had an idea. Like what about let's for every week that we meet up, why don't we each come up with one set of numbers? You know, because the way I look at it, I think we gotta have hope. You know, put our visions on here, put what we want, put what we plan to achieve, and then and then do an action step that holding on to that hope. Well, what are you thinking? Ricky said. Well, I've never been a lottery player, but I know that a lot of winners they end up winning with just one ticket. Mark said. Yeah, I've heard that too. Judd said. So I'm like, what are you thinking, Mark? Mark was like, well, I mean, my thought process is, why don't we each, because there's this generator that helps give like number suggestions, or we could just come up with numbers ourselves. Why don't we each come up? We'll do 3 tickets on the same ticket, but we'll each come up with a set of 5 numbers. For that ticket, then we'll put them on the ticket. And basically, we'll just play every week. Like one week, I'll go buy the tickets, and then the next week, Judd will buy the tickets, and then the next week, you Ricky, you'll buy the tickets, and then we just every week we just come up with we each come up with when we're talking about our visions in life, our dreams, whatever, the things that we're working towards, things that we're trying to not think are impossible. We can keep putting those numbers down, jotting down the dreams and the goals that we have for ourselves. Like, hey, I want to own a big ass house, or I want to pay off all the debts, or want to own that RV, whatever. That and hell, I'm gonna go big too. Mark said. What do you mean, man? Ricky said. Well, when I'm thinking, because how I wrote that, I drew that RV on there. I'm thinking, my vision will be, I want a brand new RV. Like, I want the 36 foot, sleeps 9 people in it, and has like tons of storage, and has little pop outs and stuff. Oh wow, Judd said. That sounds pretty amazing. Even though I'm having trouble envisioning it. It just sounds amazing. Oh yeah, I'm not even really seeing it myself either. Mark said, but because I'm not really too familiar with RVs, but I think if we were to see one like that, it'd be fucking amazing. Yeah, you're probably right, Ricky said. So, all right. So why don't we do our first set of numbers today, bros? Judd was like, yeah, sounds good, man. Let's do it. All right. So what do you think, Mark? Like, what do you want? Like, why don't you go ahead and write your first set of numbers down? All right, Mark said. All right, let's see here. So he thinks for a minute or two, and then he writes down 5 numbers on the board. All right, cool. Judd says. All right, my turn. So then he writes his numbers down on the board. All right, Ricky, you're up. Mark says as he looks over at Ricky. Ricky's like, all right, I got it. Okay, let's see. Oh, I got it. How you thinking of your numbers there? Judd says as he sees Ricky write down some numbers. Some of those, like 2 of them are birthday, like days of the month that their birthday month, and the other 2 are anniversary years. Okay, that's interesting. All right, guys, Mark says. All right, so we got our 3 numbers. Waitress comes back and sets all the plates down. Oh my God, look at this food, guys, Mark said. Guys, let me know if you need anything else, the waitress says as she walks away. So they spend the rest of that Sunday munching on their appetizers. Or the rest of that Sunday get together, munching on their appetizers, eating their food and sipping on their beers, and talking about the 3 sets of numbers that they just put down. All right, guys, Mark says. It's great to see you guys again. I'm really liking these get-togethers. I think it was something we needed, because I haven't really been able to hang out with any friends for years. I think the last people I hung out with years ago was probably you guys, when we were the trio, and now we're the Vision trio. Oh, that's right. Of course, Judd grabs one of the markers and literally writes Vision Trio on the top of the board. I want to make it official, he said. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that, Mark said, looking at the name written at the top of the board. So, I'll volunteer to be the first one to buy the tickets, Mark said. All right, sounds good, the other 2 said. So, all right, guys, I get standing up, putting the board back in his bag, and giving hugs to his friends, and then, so you guys, so I got dinner this week, he said as he puts some bills on the table, and I'll take care of the tickets, and I'll see you guys next week. Sounds good, Judd and Ricky said as they continue to finish their drinks and eat the last little bits of their steak. As the trio continued to get together each week, they would enjoy their appetizers, enjoy their steaks, write down some more numbers, and each week one of them would go and do the tickets. They'd been getting together for about 2 months when they met up again at the steakhouse. Hey, what's up, guys? Mark said as he met them all at the table again. Oh, man. It's good to see you, Mark, Judd said, shaking his hand. Judd got patted on the back and he turns around. Hey, Ricky, what's up, Judd said. Hey, not much, guys. Hey, so Mark, you got the board? Yep, I do, he said, putting the board on the table. How'd the tickets go last week? Because, well, actually, Judd did it last week. Mark said, looking over at Judd. Yeah. So Judd pulls the tickets out. Check this out, guys. One of our tickets actually hit like one, or I think it was like two numbers. I think we won like, I think like $100. Oh wow! Judd pulls out some cash out of his pocket and it's like, so I mean, dividing up between the three of us, it's like because obviously there's some random change, but hands $33 to each of his friends. So that's like $33 a piece. There's like a random dollar. I figure we could, maybe we could add that to the waitress's tip. You mean tip her on the card, then have a random lonely dollar on the table? Mark said. Yeah, pretty much. We can laugh about it later. I mean, that's interesting, Mark said. But yeah, that works. So they each enjoy their drinks, enjoy their food, and again, each of them selected 5 numbers, and they had 3 sets of numbers. They continue to meet up for several more weeks, drinking their drinks, enjoying the camaraderie, and always talking about how they were envisioning the amazing things that were to come. Drawing little diagrams on their board, talking about the things that they were going to do with the free time they're going to have, the life thing, the things in life that they were going to do with the financial stress being lifted. Several weeks in, or a couple of months in, several visits having taken place, lots of steaks eaten, lots of appetizers devoured, lots of beers consumed. They got together and just like all the previous weeks, they had wrote down their numbers, envisioned what their life would be like with the things that they were speaking into existence, the things that they were believing were going to come true, no matter how much doubt there was in their mind. Only this time, when they left, Ricky, it was his turn to actually do the tickets. Middle of the week, Judd and Mark get a text. You've been added to a group message. The hell? Mark says, looking at the group message. Oh, okay. It's got me, Judd, and Ricky in there, huh? Hey guys, you're not gonna believe this, Ricky said. What's going on? Mark says. Yeah, man. I don't think I've ever been a part of a group message, Judd says. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet up with you guys this Sunday, Ricky said, because I've got some very big news. You guys are gonna flip. Like, things are about to change. Oh wow, that sounds. I'm excited. I can't wait, Judd said. So, what is it? Mark said. No, I'd rather not say anything on the message. I want to tell you guys in person, but I wanted to let you guys know it's something big, and I think you guys, it's gonna blow your minds. Ricky said. All right, sounds good. So the rest of the week went by very slowly for both Judd and Mark, because, of course, they were wondering what this big news was that Ricky had to share with them. He didn't tell you what it is at all? Mark's wife said to him. No, he just said something big's going down, or something big happened, or whatever. But he's pretty excited, so it must be pretty big. Well, babe, man, you have to let me know whenever you find out. Of course, Mark said. Couple more days have gone by very, very slowly. Judd and Mark very much heavy with anticipation, waiting for the day when they could meet up again with their vision trio. Suddenly, or finally, Sunday comes along. They all meet at the table. Hey guys, how's it going? Judd says, coming up to the table. Ricky gave Judd a high five. Like, oh man, so good to see you, man. You know, I'm loving these get-togethers. Where's Mark? Oh, he's back there. He just came in. Ricky turned around, saw Mark coming in the front door. Hey, over here, man. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mark said as he walks in. They all sat down at the table. Hey, 3 beers all around, please. He said, called out to the waitress. Absolutely, guys. Good to see you again. Welcome back. And should we do the regular, the usual again, the sirloins and the appetizers? Yes, ma'am. Mark said. All right, coming right up. So what's his big news? Mark said. Well, why don't we wait until after we get our food? Because that, like literally, like if we do it right now, you're probably not gonna want to eat, bro. Ricky said. Oh man, that big of news, huh? Judd said. Yeah, man. Ricky says, kind of like laughing and smiling. I mean, but you got us all excited and worked up, man. Mark said. I know, but trust me, man, it's gonna be worth the wait. Ricky said. Okay, all right. Here's your beers, and here's your appetizers, and here's your steaks, gentlemen. The waitress said. Anything else? No, ma'am. I think that'll do it. Ricky said. Very well. Just let me know if you need anything, and I'll get it right for you. She said as she turned and walked away. So, like, Mark got the vision board out again and put it in between them. Well, I mean, while we're waiting on finding out what the big news is, I figured, should we do the numbers? Ricky was like, no, not yet. But we could, like, and he took one of the markers and he kind of added some diagrams, some little images onto the images he had drawn on his side. So he drew a big house and a couple more money bags, and then looked over at Judd. Oh, I see. So thinking like more money and like a bigger house. Ricky's like, yep. Okay. Judd's like, well, I mean, I've just got my fishing dream here, but he drew some more money bags in his, and drew what looked like a car. What kind of car is that? Mark said. Sports car. I don't care which kind. Just, hey, like you said, we're envisioning things that we don't think are gonna happen. We're not sure are gonna happen, or we don't have all the confidence that they're gonna happen, but we're gonna envision them anyway, right? Absolutely. Mark said, looking over at Ricky. Hell yeah, man, that's exactly what we're doing. So, as they finish their meal, Mark looks over at Ricky. So, man, like, I think you've kept us in suspense long enough. Like, what's the deal? All right, guys. So, are you ready to have your minds blown? He said, kind of looking over at Judd and Mark. Just fucking tell us, man, Judd said. All right, Ricky said, pulling out a paper out of his pocket. Mark is like, is that the ticket from last week? Yep. Ricky said, laying it on the table. And then he pulls out his phone, and he looks up a website, and he goes, all right, so I'm going to show you guys something. And he types in an address, and then he puts his phone on the table and goes, check that shit out. Mark looks at it like, am I seeing this right? He said, Judd, are you seeing this? Like, am I imagining this? Judd looks at it and goes, let's see. He looks at the phone, looking at the numbers, and then he looks back at the ticket and look back at the phone again. Did we match all 5 fucking numbers? Judd said. Yeah, bro. Ricky said, like we won the fucking jackpot, man. $200 million, bro. What? Mark said, like, dropping, like, spilling his beard. Grabs his bottle really quick to pick it up and, grabs his napkins to clean it up. Wait a minute. No, this can't be real, he said. He grabs the phone again and pulls the ticket over to him and compares the numbers. Oh my god, man. Five numbers matched. Did we really win? Holy shit. I yeah, I haven't called anything in, bro. But, but that's pretty much, when I saw those numbers, and then I looked at the ticket, like we matched all 5, man. We won the freaking jackpot, $200 million split between the 3 of us. Oh my God, Judd said. Oh my God. I'm in shock, man, Mark said. I don't even know what to say. Well, let's, so, all right, so I don't even know we could talk about anything else. This meetup, guys, like, oh my God, Mark said. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this meeting to a close, and let's coordinate throughout the week. Like, Ricky, why don't you call and notify that we've got the winning ticket, and I'm sure they're gonna want to schedule to meet up with us or whatever, so we could actually collect our winnings or whatever. Like, I'm in shock, man. I'm still in shock. I never in my life thought this would happen. I didn't think these money bags on this diagram or on this board would become real. Yeah, me either, Judd said. I've always thought envisioning things and speaking, quote, he did air quotes, positivity into the universe. I always thought it was bullshit. I didn't think anything would ever come from it, but we were doing it. And oh my God, I can't believe this, man. Judd said, I pounded the table. Oh my God. All right, guys, chill out. Ricky said, he looked around the room, saw a couple of other customers were looking their way. All right, guys, let's chill out. So they finished their appetizers and beers and their meals, packed everything up, and left the restaurant. Ricky, throughout the week, made some phone calls, got in touch with the lottery officials, and had let them know that their ticket was from three people having bought, the ticket or whatever, that they would be splitting the prize. And he texted Judd and Mark to let them know, hey, we're we're actually gonna meet up on this date, and we're gonna be at this location, and they're basically they're gonna have the amount in 3 separate checks broken down for the 3 of us. To be like, he said, I don't know if I got the math right. He was typing on his phone, but it's gonna be about 60, roughly about $63 million a piece. And he sends a message in the group chat. They get a reply from Judd in the group chat, basically, with just a bunch of random special characters. Ricky responds with a couple question marks. Judd replies again, I just can't fucking believe this, bro. Mark finally replies, yeah, I'm speechless. This is gonna change. I can't believe that I'm gonna be able to step away from the truck very soon. Ricky replies, oh, I know, bro. We're all we could all step away from what we're currently doing and actually travel, and you could fish, Judd. And Judd replied, oh, I'm so stoked. I'm so glad we started getting together and doing what we're doing. So the 3 of them met up with the lottery officials and had their photos taken, got their hands shaken, or their hands shook, and congratulated as they were all 3 handed a $63 million check. As the next couple weeks, as the coming weeks had, throughout the coming weeks, they continue to meet up every weekend. But instead of envisioning time and financial freedom, now they each had their wives with them, meet one big group of friends. Mark, having been able to finally hang the keys up and buy the motorhome that he wanted, pay off his house, pay for a massive expansion to his house to turn it into their dream home, and his wife not having to work. And Judd, him and his wife, with the financial change that happened, were suddenly a lot closer, going on date nights, owning a home, getting her dream business off the ground. Gone were the days of him coming home and feeling like he wasn't really connecting with her because she would just sit there on her iPad and not really be interactive with him. Their marriage had taken a very positive turn because of the type of freedom that they now enjoy. Ricky, even though he loved his job, working in management in the department store, he, despite the love for his job, he actually made the decision that he wanted the freedom more. And so he stepped down from his job, bought the dream house with his wife, freed up his wife's time as well, got her into the business that she wanted to get into, but traveled a lot with her and actually had the life that he dreamed of. All three friends with their families finally able to do the things they want to do. And now all three families, all three couples meeting up every weekend to enjoy a good dinner, enjoy good drinks together, and talking about where they were a year ago versus where they are now. And reminiscing and always talking about the fact that they finally got where they wanted to be because they dared to write down their dreams and their hopes and what they wanted in life, no matter how improbable or impossible it might seem. And as what used to be the Vision Trio, a trio of guys that had been friends for a long time, but now are the Vision Trio of couples whose life and futures were now drastically different from having the courage to and daring to dream about what they wanted. They each would get together every weekend and give each other hugs and enjoy time now that they had so much freedom that they didn't have to worry anymore. Three couples who really hadn't been friends with each other and initially had just been the guys, but now all three couples were the best of friends and had continued to make it a weekly thing to get together, and had even started traveling together on occasion, hopping in Mark's large ass motorhome and traveling the country and just enjoying the sights and living life and doing what they want on their terms. And as time went on, they continued to meet up and would occasionally talk to other people that would randomly ask, but they would see them get together every week and they would see that they would order whatever they wanted. And pay the bill whenever it came and always give like $150 tip to the waitress, people started asking, what's your secret? What do you guys like? We see you guys come in here every week and you guys always have a huge bill and you guys always tip the waitress 150 to 200 bucks. What, like, are you guys like, do you have like really, really high paying jobs? Like, and the three couples would just laugh and be like, no, like, we don't work at all. Like, we live life on our terms now because we dare to envision what we wanted, and we put it out there, and it happened. And so, as people would as some other friends that would come into their life would ask, what do we do? Like, how can we get to where you are? And the three couples would basically just say, you just have to dream it, and you have to believe that it's going to happen, and then you have to go after it, and it, believe that it's going to happen, go for it, and make it happen. And they would emphasize vision boards work. They would always get the same reaction from people initially when they would tell them about putting their dreams and hopes and whatnot on a vision board. But they would explain to them, like, look, we did this. That's just what we did for, a couple months, and we started getting back together again. And then we hit the jackpot, and basically we've not had to worry about money ever since. And we all retired from our jobs. We all did what we wanted to do. And bit by bit, people that would interact with them, they'd start doing the same thing. So the three couples continued to meet up every week, continued to do vision boards, but instead of anything financial, they would put things out there like, want to win this award, want to meet new friends, want to catch the biggest fish, want to have more grandkids, just anything they could envision, any positive change in their life that they were dreaming of. And as they continued to meet every week, and the months and years went by, they became the best of friends, and life as they knew it from before they started hanging out was never the same again. And they all lived the rest of their lives being there for one another, supporting each other, being there for whatever each of them might need, supporting each other's dreams, and pushing each other to be better than they were before. And after many, many years, it's still being together, it's still being the best friends, and having grandkids and great-grandkids, their dream houses, their dream businesses, multiple investments set up to so that $63 million a piece continue to bring in other passive income streams, so that they were not only set up for themselves, but they'd set up generational wealth for their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids. They continue to live life on their terms and live life to the fullest. And the Vision Trio, once only 3 guys, now 3 couples, all three couples, amazing friends, lived happily ever after, always being there for one another. The end. Hey Hey guys, welcome back. You know what I always say, as always, appreciate y'all being here. And like I always say, most times I do a freestyle story, it's always I struggle a little bit to try to like come up with an idea for a freestyle story. Like, hey, what do I want to tell a story about? And you guys hear this every week too. But then once it's funny, every time too, it's like, and I'm kind of getting used to it, to the point where I'm no longer like, oh my god, I'm so surprised I was able to do a story, because it's like, for me, like the hardest part is coming up, starting it, you know, like, all right, what do I want to tell a story about? But then I'm kind of getting used to when I do it, once I get started, usually as I'm telling the story, the other ideas are flowing, and the story just comes out. So it's just a matter of, I try to come up with the initial ideas, like what the character names are going to be, what I want it to basically be about. Thank God for ChatGPT. I'm able to, because you can verbally speak and literally have a conversation back and forth. So it's like, hey, give me some ideas for a story, and then I'm asking questions like, well, what if I did, this idea, blah blah blah. And of course, I have it set up for a female voice, so she comes back like, oh my god, that sounds really amazing. Like, you could have the characters do such and such, blah blah blah. Because I had said, like, what if I do something where it's like a group of friends meeting up together, and they're doing lottery drawings, and they win, and they are able to achieve the things they want to do, and it'd be like a vision group or whatever. And she goes, what about the vision trio? I'm like, I like it. or she said, she said vision club, and I was like, what about vision trio? She's like, that's amazing. So gotta love AI. You can have little conversations, trying to get some ideas, get motivation or whatever. So it's like, especially because I'm telling myself each week, I'm like, I try to record the following week. Like this week, I already had Tuesday's episode recorded. I had Tuesdays already, because last week when I did the story for I guess what should be last week's, from the time that you guys hear this. But when I did last week's story, on that same morning, I actually had a inspirational idea for a Real Talk episode, and so I was leaving Lenexa to head back to Kansas City, and I went ahead and hit record, and I did a Real Talk episode for that following week, and was like, well, shit, I already have, so that way at that time I had Real Talk for the current week, Story Time for the current week, and Real Talk already for the next week. And so this week, all I had to do was Story Time for next week. Feels weird talking about it when I'm talking in the future, but you guys are going to be hearing this, obviously the present, but, but it's like when we hear those podcasts where they do bulk content creating, so they do like multiple episodes for like multiple weeks. And I'm like, yeah, eventually, once this show takes off, and I can do it more full time, then I could probably do that. Take like a couple days here or there to do like 4 or 5 or 6 Real Talk episodes, and get like multiple stories recorded, so that way it'd be like, hey, I'm good for the next month. Right now, I'm just happy if I can get like, not just have the current week, but have the following week planned out, so that way I'm not like trying to get something recorded when it's down to the wire, So, but anyway, had fun with it. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. And again, anybody, if you want to find me, find the Blodgett Show on social media. You can find us on Instagram at Blodgett Show Podcast. Anybody who's a writer or storyteller, whatever, if you want to record a story and send me the file, go for it. Or if you're a writer and you have stories written and you want me to read it for the show, send that or your recording to blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com. Again, personal socials for like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for me are T and Trucker Chris. You can find me on X at CEAZFreedom, the blog at tandtruckerchris.wordpress.com, and YouTube literally at Christopher Blodgett. But otherwise, if anybody wants to support the show in the form of donations, please do. I'd appreciate it. You know, every little bit helps. Anything and everything that comes in will basically go towards supporting the show. Literally, like hosting costs, merch. Eventually, getting some ideas put in motion. Getting books. Get some of the Blodgett Show short story volumes actually published, so those could be available for sale, whatever, for people to buy or whatever. But again, that's blodgettshow.com/support if you want to do it. Otherwise, tell your friends and family, if you like the show. That way we can grow that way as well. But yeah, that's basically it. So anyway, guys, as always, appreciate you being here. You know what I always say, keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. I'm trying to lead by, it's like when I'm home, I try to lead by example with my kids, by even though when I'm always sleep deprived, always tired, but yet, if I'm not, even when I'm sick sometimes, if I could be up and about, I'm out here doing what I gotta do. So, and I'm trying to do the same thing here on the show, where even though I don't really have a whole lot of free time at all, don't have the time freedom, don't have the financial freedom, I'm going through the motions, doing what I gotta do, keeping these episodes coming for you guys each week, and telling myself that if I do the work, eventually it's gonna pay off. Eventually the show will take off. Eventually donations will be coming in. We'll have be able to get opted in on some advertising platforms to monetize. Because I know one thing that I always kind of find interesting is when I've come across podcasts where they're like they do the show when it was only a year old, was like they're already like, we're doing this full time now, we're able to quit our jobs. I'm like, I've been doing this for at least two and a half or so years, and I'm literally like still on the ground floor as far as like monetization. Like I'm not not monetized at all, but I don't have free time that to even like not just work on it but figure things out. So I keep going because the only option otherwise from what I'm currently doing is to basically be like, well, I give up, I quit, and I'm not gonna do that because I think doing the show helps me a lot too, because we all struggle with mental health or whatever, so if I give up, then I'm just gonna like fall into that pit, kind of that pit of despair, so to speak, where I just resign myself to the fact I'm gonna be doing this trucking schedule for the next 30 years, and I don't really want that. So gotta go after what we want, gotta just keep working towards it, and eventually things will happen. Like you might only notice things get better in your life after a while, like a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's okay. Just keep your eyes on the prize and keep focusing on the things you want, and keep trying to figure out how to get there. Like I always say too, like look at the things you want to accomplish, no matter how impossible or whatever they might feel, and just tell yourself, I'm gonna figure it out. So on that note, you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will talk to you guys again next week on the next Real Talk Tuesday. And then, of course, after that, be the next story. But so keep coming back every Tuesday and Friday. Tell your friends, tell your family, and you guys keep being awesome. And I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one.